So I'm excited to be here today. Since I originally drafted and submitted my topic for the presentation, which was 5 do's and don'ts, as I got into the meat of developing the presentation, I realized there's way more than 5 do's and don'ts for an awesome company website. So we're going to cover quite a bit of them, and I'll move through some of these slides pretty quickly in order to be able to get through all of the content that I have here. But essentially, I want to start off with, posing the question, what is the purpose of a company website? Our whole buying process for consumers, whether they be technology consumers or even retail consumers, the whole buying process has really changed in the last several years as there is more and more content that is available. Customers are out researching lots of data on their own before they even directly will contact your company. They are presenting themselves as a buyer somewhere down the line after they have done a lot of research. So they're looking for information about problems that they're trying to solve. They're looking for the potential solutions to solve the problems on their own, and they are very much armed with a lot of detailed information before they even pick up the phone or send you a message to contact you. So your website is really that first line of information that is helping these buyers and consumers drill through information, and so you want to make sure that your website has all that information to well present your company and your brand. Having a good company website is a real key element to any good comprehensive marketing strategy and plan for your business. It does provide a key place to present your company, the products, solutions, and services that you offer. It presents the opportunity for you to capture leads that you then can follow up through the sales process. It can allow for e-commerce if you choose to establish an e-commerce site through your website rather than having it just be strictly content and information. And it increases your brand awareness, communicates the culture of your company, and also allows the current customer as well as potential customers to really research and learn a lot about your company. You should start off with establishing some goals, whether you're launching a website for your business from scratch or if you've had a website and you're looking at redesigning, revamping, and relaunching it. Take a few moments to sit down and think through what are the goals. Certainly, you would want to create a source for customers to learn about your business. You want to increase the brand awareness. Do you want to capture leads for your business? And do you want to actually transact business on your site? So these are just some of the basic questions that you should keep in mind. Your company website doesn't have to be what I say is groundbreaking. It doesn't have to be way different than maybe what you would find in a lot of competitive websites. But there are some very basics that you need and that visitors to your website are looking for when they're navigating. You want to provide information that is of value to those visitors. You want to make sure that it is set up in an easy, straightforward format for navigation, following some standard rules that are intuitive to a visitor so that they know where to go and how to access information. And you want it to well represent your company and your brand. As far as content goes, do make sure you include this basic information about your website or on your website. You want to have an About Us section that is a brief description of your company. You can provide some history and tell a little bit more about what it is that you do. You want to have a listing, a tab that indicates the products, and then a tab that indicates services that you offer. A website is a great resource for you to include some customer testimonials. Use your best satisfied customers to speak on behalf of your company and your brand and to provide a testimonial for you. And then one of my pet peeves is when I visit a website and if I can't find the contact us information quickly and in a couple different places, that's a real negative in my book. So make sure you do have your contact information in a couple of spots and visible so that anyone who is searching, they know how to get in touch with you. As far as layout goes, you want to keep it simple, and a simple layout with simplified content. You might say, wait, but what about the technical details? You can include all of that information, but make sure that it's still in a simplified format. And you don't have to list all of this information on your home page. You want to make sure you organize and give your visitors, customers, whoever's accessing your website, give them a reason to drill down and click onto content which will engage them and keep them on your site for a longer period of time. Make sure that your layout makes sense, that it's consistent. You want to use clear and easy navigation, and also make sure you do include your social media links. If you're engaged in social media, include that on your layout of your homepage as well. Here's just a quick example of a very nice, streamlined, straightforward website that's very, simply laid out, but has all of the key information, and it's easy to navigate, easy for any visitor to the site to find what it is that they're looking for. Your website is a great representation for your company and your brand, so do make sure that you include your logo on all pages of the site and in the same place for that consistent formatting and framing of the site. Do use colors and design that represent your brand, and use images that visually depict and represent the products and the solutions that your company offers. You want to make sure that you do optimize your site. Make sure that it is compatible with the major browsers, with Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, and Safari as a minimum. Make sure that it is mobile friendly. That is really the key these days. Almost 2/3 of Americans now own a smartphone. And we've done some research at Jenny amongst our own customer base of technology resellers and find that more and more now are accessing the Jenny website via their mobile phone. So it is key that when you're doing your website design that you do make sure that it is optimized and it is mobile friendly. The website is a key source of information that you can track and analyze, so do make sure that you do have a mechanism in place for tracking it, and then make sure you're accessing those reports and evaluating them to help you in the decisions you'll be making as far as additional content that you can launch onto the site and or for following up with leads from visitors that do visit your pages. You can certainly use a free program like Google Analytics, and there are many others out there that can provide lots of great information. But it's not enough just to have the tracking in place. You really do need to take the time to analyze those reports on a daily, weekly, monthly basis so that you can have some actionable items as a result of the analytics that you have in place. You want to increase your traffic and keep it there. So to drive traffic to your website, make sure that you use other forms of marketing that you have in place to promote and advertise your website. So put it on all of your marketing pieces, within any email blasts that you send out, any print materials that you have for your company, include it on your business cards, plaster it out there so you get the word out about your website. Make sure that you link it to all of your social media pages. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, within a LinkedIn company page and a LinkedIn discussion group, if you have those. Included in your employees' email signatures. Talk about it when you're visiting with customers in meetings, events, but do everything that you can to help drive awareness and traffic to your site. And then maintaining your website, you want to make sure in order to keep people coming back to your site, make sure it's up to date. It's a very poor representation of your company if a visitor comes to your site and they see that content is dated. If you include press releases about your company, things that your company's engaged in, and you link those on your site, and a visitor comes, for example, and sees that it was 6 months ago was the last time that you put out a press release, that doesn't speak well of your business and the professionalism of your company. So make sure that the content is being updated on a very frequent basis. Some website don'ts that you want to keep in mind. Don't get stuck in the past. Avoid color schemes and graphics that look like they came from the 90s. They will definitely date your website, and particularly when you're in the technology business, you want to make sure that you look up to date. Make sure you don't have any pixelated images that are populating, no confusing navigation bars. Avoid using a lot of colors and different font styles in the text, and avoid really making it a brochure about the company with a lot of copy and type, but little in the way of images. Here's an example again of this is a real website that we found in doing some searches that again looks like it's from the 90s, but it's a current website that is out there on behalf of a business, and it really pretty much has all of the don'ts that I've listed here on this slide. Make sure your formatting is consistent. Even the type font, you want to make sure that it's the same font, the size of the text, and colors throughout the website. This is an example here, just kind of poking fun at, again, I've gone on several different websites and found this type of formatting, which looks very amateurish and not professional. Don't write a novel on your pages. Here's an example from a website, again, that has lots and lots of text with a tiny little photograph. You can include all your technical details, but it's better to summarize, use some bullet points. People these days are not readers of heavy copy, they are scanners. And so anything that you can do to boil it down to the essentials helps people navigate through the copy and get to the point and understand what the product is or the service or whatever information you are trying to convey. If you're starting from scratch or you're looking to revamp your current website, there are lots of options out there for building a website. Couple choices you have, and you can make these up front, are whether you utilize an online company where you can build and host your own website. You can certainly hire an outside web designer who has expertise to develop and maintain your website. Or if your company is of the size and as you're growing, you have the resources to add somebody onto your staff, you can hire somebody. But before you get started with any of these three different methods, you would want to list all of the functionality and features that you want your site to have before you go into either a meeting with a company or an individual that you're hiring. Better to have thought this through first, and then your time spent with the resource that you're paying to help you with this project will be much more productive. There are lots of content management websites out there that are free or paid. Some of the benefits are that no coding is needed. The hosting is usually provided as part of their service. I've listed a few of them there. You can see their logos. You can upgrade from free to paid services when you grow and you decide that you need additional capabilities. And you can also utilize many pre-designed templates that they have to offer that makes it quick and easy. Some drawbacks are you do need a little bit of technical savvy. There might be some limits to customization. There certainly is an investment of time on your part in order for you to be that actively involved, and there can be some limits to storage, number of pages, and bandwidth through some of these resources. If you're looking to build your own e-commerce site, there are content management companies that offer the functionality as well. And you can keep in mind your typical customer that you're dealing with when you're looking into these services. With web developers, if you're looking for a customized website with many more advanced features, you might want to look to contract a developer. I'm not going to go into all the details here because I know I am limited on time. So I'm going to kind of move along quickly through the next several slides because I want to get to some of the more content issues that we have. So with content resources and content syndication, website material that you can embed on your website and is managed by the manufacturer. There are many manufacturers out there that offer this service. Available, I've listed there from some of the manufacturers that Jenny is familiar with and that we work with. This is a great resource because the manufacturer is doing all of the work for you. It's very professional, and you just basically link and your content is continuously updated by the manufacturer on your website. So I always encourage our customers to make sure that you're aware of and you utilize the content syndication resources from these manufacturers. The manufacturers also offer lots of great content that you can piggyback on and post onto your site. You can use spec sheets, product brochures, images, logos, all of that. Again, dig into what they offer and take advantage of it to help build out content for your site. At Jenny, we have some additional resources which, if you're looking for help on how to effectively build a marketing plan, you can access these for free of charge on the Jenny website. There's a whole series we call the Jumpstart Your Marketing series, and they are free webinars that cover a lot of different topics, including websites, social media, and other marketing topics. And if you need any additional assistance from getting started on a marketing game plan, we're also able to offer that assistance to you as well. Again, it's a free service that is provided, and it will help you answer questions that you have. If you would like someone in the Jenny marketing team will take a look at your website. We'll drill down through the site with you. We provide that same service if you're interested for your marketing plan as well. So I'm going to scroll. I wanted to leave enough time for questions. If you have questions on your website or your any marketing initiatives. Okay. Yes.
So, it functions completely differently from the big screen website.
Yes.
So does that require a complete redesign?
It does, and it's actually something that we're working on right now at Jenny with our website. And in fact, I was just communicating with one of our designers this morning, and he was sending me some PDFs of some of the designs of taking what will be the new homepage design for desktop, and then how you have to scrunch the information and what we have to make decisions as to what is going to show and what's not going to show, and how it will change the layout. So as you go from the width and you're scrunching this way, when you go to a tablet view, you can pretty much replicate most everything that you're going to see in your desktop view. But you do have to make some different design decisions as you optimize for your mobile. You might have some banner ads, for example, that we have banner ads that rotate on our desktop version. And when you scrunch those, they're not gonna portray the same way. So we have to redesign to make banners that are gonna come down the page, or make a decision that some of those banners won't show for mobile. Now I know for my manufacturer partners that I work with, and they want those banners to show, so I have to figure out a way, okay, we're gonna scrunch, but it's gonna require that it's gonna move down and it's gonna be a longer layout. Yeah. Yes, yes, and as I alluded to, we've done some research with our customers. We did a survey about 2 months ago, and we plan on continuing to repeat the survey every 6 months so that we can keep track to see how our resellers are moving more to mobile. We have, technicians that are out in the field that are accessing certain content from the website, and they are now doing it on their phones rather than going back to their office. So we have to make sure that all of that key information that we're investing in as a resource for them, that they can access it when they are out in the field. Yes.
We're actually in the process of redoing our website, hope to launch it in less than 3 weeks. One of the things we looked at when the designer first showed me was having a little button that you could click on, maybe a right-hand corner or the left corner, as opposed to listing out different subcategories on the website, such as support or product or services and things like that. Initially, I said I don't think most people know this little button, but as I've been looking at mobile websites on my
Mm-hmm.
on my mobile phone and on desktop, I'm starting to notice more and more different format. We're scrolling down now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see those little buttons that you click on more and more often. So, what's your opinion on whether to use that format or use the format that lists everything that calls for support for help and
Yeah, I do think that that is definitely a trend I've noticed as well. And maybe it's my age and I'm more old school that I like it being like kind of straightforward, being able to click across and see what it is I'm looking for. But I have noticed that is a trend that a lot of designers are going towards this, So I don't think he's giving you bad advice. I think things grow and evolve over time. Again, I'll be dating myself to say this, but when I was at a previous company in 1993, I joined that company and it did not have a website. That was at the very beginning stages of the internet and websites. And for that company, I launched its very first website. And back then, it was definitely brochureware. It was, a very different type of design that was prevalent back in the early 90s. And then during the time that I was with that company, we got into e-commerce. So at the beginning, it was just brochureware, which is different. Once you get into a transactional website, then there are other different design implications to make it easy for customers to be able to navigate and actually make a purchase. Is your site going to be transactional or is it going to be mostly informational? Yeah. So no, yeah. I would just say for the transactional, making sure that it's very clear and apparent when a customer comes to that first screen of how do they buy. Don't have that buried. Make it real prominent. Click here to buy. Sure.
I have questions about mobile, and do you allow your partners, clients to purchase through mobile, and does it require an app? Also, use the chat for mobile.
So currently, we do not have partners purchasing through mobile. That's one of our objectives for the future. I think technically you could, because you have to log into a separate transactional site for Jenny. But it is definitely an initiative that we're working on ourselves because, again, we do see that more and more of our customers are transacting and using their mobile, many in place of, and I think it was even a point that the keynote speaker this morning said that, was it Nigeria, I think was the country he was saying that in Africa, the internet has bypassed desktop and tablets. They've gone right to using their mobile device as their only device.
So will you be using an app then for mobile?
We're looking at an app. Have not made that decision yet. We have a little task force team at Jenny between our director of IT, product management, and marketing that's looking into that right now.
And are you currently using chat?
We are not currently using chat per se. We do have the ability when a customer when our sales team can see if a customer is calling in, but it's not a live chat button. That may be something that we'll move into in the future as well. I know that personally, I like using that function now and use it quite often when I'm on various websites, and that comes up as an option. I was on I was on a business call on Monday from my hotel room here, but I was also trying to take care of an issue with American Express while I was on the call, and that chat window popped up. So I was like, yeah, I can multitask. I can be listening and participating in my QBR at the same time that I'm online chatting and resolving my customer service issue with American Express. But obviously, you have to have the resources to have, you know, real-time, quick responses to be able to man that. Sure. All right. Well, I am around, so if anybody has one-on-one questions, I'd be happy to chat with you later today. I'll be here. All right. Thank you very much.